Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh man.
welcome to episode 34 of the Clutch Dump. Let me tell you something, guys. First of all, if you're watching, I'm not a Mercedes fan. This is McLaren Mercedes from 07.
He is. He's a Mercedes
my boy.
fan. Big Lewis Hamilton guy over there.
But the reason I'm wearing the hat is the last time Fernando drove a Mercedes-engined car, 07.
Was
and
then.
now we are here. We are back with Fernando and Mercedes. But that is not, well, we are going to talk about it. That is not the only thing we're going to talk about.
Hopefully.
We're going to talk about V8 Supercars. We're going to talk about Asian Le Mans Series. We're going to talk about IMSA. We're going to talk about Formula One. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So, before we go any further, make sure to ring that notification bell here on YouTube. Drop a subscription. Like this episode. And guys, please do come on over. Hang out on YouTube at the Clutch Dump Pod. And then make sure to check us out wherever you listen, wherever you find your podcast, whether that's Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, or otherwise. Make sure to go check us out there. If you're listening, you found us, so thank you. Guys, let me just tell you something. We got the Daytona 500 next week. We got a lot of racing coming up. It is in full swing. I would say the racing season officially is underway because in terms of F1, we got car launches. In terms of, dude, I want to go through some V8 Supercar livery launches because there were 4 or 5 today.
There were a lot.
And I'm going to make a pretty bold claim. But V8 Supercars has the hottest liveries globally this year.
At the moment, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, what the hell? So, that all being said, guys, I am sipping on an IPA, but more importantly, I am sitting opposite
Hello.
the one and only Ben Walther. And also, maybe more importantly, he's not wearing a Valentino Rossi hat.
Oh my gosh, he brought it up. I wanted to see if it would happen.
Yeah.
I went and I dug and I found a new hat just for Nick. Even though Nick will remember the day that I got this hat.
Yes.
And it's the first time I've ever worn it. It's been like 2.5 years. This is the first time I'm wearing this hat. It was not a good trip. Well, it was good for me. It wasn't good for everyone. Anyway, my gosh, do we have a lot to talk about?
Where do you want to start?
I don't know. It might actually be easier to say what we're not talking about.
Yeah, I think we're not talking about Super GT and Formula E, and that's about it.
No, we have Formula E. There was a race last weekend.
So Super GT, we're not talking about that.
That's it. We're not talking about Super GT. Oh my gosh. I say, well, for starters, we should end with Formula One, as we normally do.
Okay. So do you want to start with IndyCar?
I say we start with some IndyCar.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's not too much IndyCar news, but it's important that we touch on this because, as you know, on top of insightful, honest commentary in the world of motorsports, we also give you the minute-by-minute, up-to-date news. And this is a week and a half old. But Verizon is extending their partnership with Penske Racing and the number 12 car of the one and only Will Power, who, you know, liked a few of our Instagram posts. It's whatever. And then also Catherine Legg will be running the 4th Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing entry in the Indianapolis 500. Which, is it not on here about Connor Daly running the Indy 500? Or did we mention that last time?
I think that was last time. If not, Connor Daly's running the Indy 500.
Oh, no, that's in my NASCAR notes because he's coming over from Indy to run in the Daytona 500. But that's okay. We're going to ignore that. I didn't just spoil NASCAR. But
no, we're not, because that's going to be our
news.
segue into NASCAR.
You're right. So, NASCAR. Kyle Busch, as we mentioned with his whole Mexican gun fiasco.
Yeehaw.
He was fined a whole $1,000, which I'm sure really took the sting out of it for him being a multimillionaire.
Sure, he noticed that.
Unfortunately, a week ago today, Dale Jarrett, who's a NASCAR Cup Series legend, a Winston Cup legend, his wife passed away after them being married for decades and decades. So that's obviously really sad, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Jarrett family. Connor Daly attempts to contend in the Daytona 500, so he'll be running the 2 big 500s, the Indy and the Daytona 500. Zane Smith, who I've never heard of, will run the number 36 car at the Daytona 500, and he's replacing Todd Gilliland in the number 38 car in up to, the cap is 6, but up to 6 NASCAR Cup Series races. Apparently in the NASCAR circles I'm in, this is of note because people think Todd Gilliland is well deserving of his seat. I've been watching NASCAR pretty much the full season. I think now close to 2 or 3 years, and I don't ever remember seeing him get a win. I mean, he's gotten top 10s, that's fine, but whatever. I mean, whatever. That's really it. Is I just don't care.
Yep.
So the Daytona 500 is a week from yesterday, and oh lordy, am I excited! So make sure to set your calendars, set your reminders, guys. This week is the 7 Days of Dale, a new holiday that me and the Clutch Dump are going to start by proxy. North Wilkesboro Speedway announces its musical lineup for the 2023 All-Star race, including Chase Rice and Midland. Again, both of which I've never heard of. Jimmy Johnson has said that he's going to run 10 races in the number 84 Legacy Motorcars entry. For those of you that are normal people, that's basically the dyslexic version of the 48 car for petty GMS. We had the livery reveal, and it's going to go here, of Travis Pastrana's 2311 Toyota Camry entry into the Daytona 500. The main sponsor is the Black Rifle Coffee Company, which makes sense. I mean, he's had Black Rifle Coffee sponsor a bunch of his other cars, whether it's in rally or otherwise. So that's just kind of par for the course.
And he came and did Black Rifle stuff in Bernie like a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I covered the Daytona 500. So Ben,
yes,
we got to talk about the Clash. Other than what we talked about last episode, right?
Right. Other than
if you don't know, if you want our actual thoughts, go ahead and check out episode 33 of the Clutch Dump. But little bit of news tidbits, and I want to get Ben's reaction.
Okay.
So the second annual Clash received a TV rating of 2.01. And it amounted to a total viewers of 3.647 million viewers, which is down 15% from the inaugural race last year. And alongside that observation, a handful, this many journalists and NASCAR personalities that went have said that it was the best NASCAR race they've ever been to.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I mean, it's interesting and it's different. What's not to like? That's it.
Interesting and different doesn't mean the best, though.
No, it doesn't have to be the best.
Well, right. So what do you think of these people saying it's the best?
Oh, well, I think they're journalists, and that's called an opinion. So if they think
Ben
it's
Walter
the best,
just decided
good
he's
for
going to
them.
go vanilla milk toast for the
No, just
episode.
if they think it's the best, that's
it's
fine.
okay. No, it's fine. I don't know what I expected.
I think 4th Gen Camaros are better than GT3 RSs. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean it's correct. It's not, but that's
You're
my
certainly
opinion.
right. It does not mean it's correct.
It is absolutely correct.
So that all being said, guys, make sure to tune in next week for our Daytona 500 episode, because that is probably going to be...
Nick watches it and I don't. Which Nick figured out about 3 hours ago and is very upset about.
Yeah, I mean, hey, what's the point of making plans, right? So,
exactly.
Ben, what do you want to talk about next?
Oh, what do I want to talk about next? Let's see. We can get in. There we go. Well, let's go Asian Le Mans Series because, well, I didn't put this down and you did, so I don't know what it is. Nick, Patty, Asian Le Mans Series.
Basically, the full 2023 entry list has been released from the Asian Le Mans Series, and their first race is at the Dubai Autodrome. I don't know where that track is, other than the fact it's in Dubai, and I've never watched the Asian Le Mans Series. But if you do, the Clutch Dump is your place for news.
Fantastic, because we'll watch it. Yeah, it's endurance racing. We'll watch it.
It's cool cars and long hours, so...
I'm gonna hop on to
Pikes Peak.
I'll do Pikes Peak real quick, since we're here. Even though Pikes Peak is several months away, and there's really not much news that ever comes out of Pikes Peak except for like crazy builds that are happening. And one of those builds is being run by a British firm called Venture Engineering, and they are entering a Aston Martin Vantage GT3 car. There will be a picture of it here. They just released a picture of a body in white Vantage GT3. Cool. They're going to be running at both the 2023 and the 2024 series in the 23 and 24 hill climbs. Sorry.
There you go.
In the Time Attack 1 class. Well, they said they're going to run it for 2023, so we're hoping for 2024 that the car gets like 1 million horsepower and giant wings and downforce and all that stuff.
And big vroom vroom.
And big vroom vrooms. But the big news is that it is going to be piloted by 3-time King of the Mountain, Robin Shute. If you don't know who Robin Shute is, basically he's a crazy man.
Like moi.
Who has a team called the Sendy Club, and they have a Wolf chassis with a turbo Honda motor in it, and he's gotten very close several times to beating the Volkswagen IDR Pikes Peak. The car is called Pikes Peak, and this dude and some friends built a car. So basically, he's an ex-Tesla engineer, and then went and worked for a couple other electric startups that all went belly up, as electric startups do. So decided, well, I'll just do consulting, and then on the side build a race car and go at Pikes Peak. And apparently,
as you do.
As you do. So that is all we have from Pikes Peak, but I'm very intrigued to see that and many other cars as well. I like builds and aero. So, Nick, Patty, what else are you interested in? Because we can't talk about F1.
Cars. I love racing and cars and barbecue and beer.
Would you like me to get Rally out of the way?
You know, I feel like there's an option for yes or no, but I actually only think the answer is yes.
Okay, well, yay, Rally, because I get to talk about Rally, because Rally's awesome. So Travis Pastrana, whom we talked about earlier in the 2311 Toyota Camry.
Which is, funny, because I'm actually putting this one, I actually put this note in here.
You did.
It's kind of crazy. I paid attention to Rally.
Well, I saw him post about it, and I just didn't think anything of it.
No, of course not. We don't have a podcast.
I forget sometimes. So Travis Pastrana is no longer going to be competing full-time in Rally. He will not be running full seasons. And he is going to dedicate his time to other versions of racing, such as things like
NASCAR.
Like NASCAR for some reason, and basically that means Hoonigan stuff. But we did have 2 rallies this past weekend. We had Rally Sweden and we had Snowdrift, so both of which in the snow, both of which very cold. One of them interesting, the other one not so interesting. So we'll start with the veggies. So we had the opening round of the ARA, which I have good news and I have bad news, veggies and dessert. I'll start with the veggies, whatever. Clearly, you haven't seen that scene from Fast and the Furious.
I haven't seen any Fast and the Furious because I enjoy good movies.
You don't know this, but there's a very small Vin Diesel shaped hole in your heart that needs to be filled. Anyway, so Snowdrift happened this past weekend, which was the first round of the American Rallycross Association, and well, it wasn't interesting because it's basically a 1-horse race. Because last year it was a 3-horse race of Brandon Semenek in his Vermont Sports Cars WRX STI, Travis Pastrana in his Vermont Sports Cars WRX STI, and Ken Block in his ex-WRC Hyundai i20N. And this year, only Brandon is running in the series. So he won the event. Well done, Brandon Semenek.
Wow!
Congratulations.
Everybody, golf clap! Woo!
You won the event. So just in the highest level, in the highest class, he was the only one running. So he finished the rally in 1 hour, 56 minutes, 47.9 seconds. Tom Williams came second in a R2 Ford Fiesta, which is basically like a spec class. It's like an NA 2-liter all-wheel drive Fiesta. He finished 14 minutes behind Brandon. So well done, Brandon, on your 2023 ARA championship. Well done, sir. I'm very proud. Which I like Brandon Semenek because, well, watched him come into rally from mountain biking, and he won a championship last year, which I was stoked about, but and then he's gonna win one this year for nothing. So there's that. Hopefully rally is saved and next year there will be more people. However, we had Rally Sweden.
That was scary there for a minute. I was like, he's charging up like Godzilla or something.
So we did have Rally Sweden, which is always one of my favorite rallies because snow. And driving in snow is really hard, so driving in snow really fast, probably not that easy. Yes. Have you ever... Okay, slight tangent. Sorry. We're going to put a pin in
it took all of 15 minutes. All right.
We're not at 15 minutes. 14 minutes, 50 seconds. So we're going to put a pin in Rally Sweden and come back to it.
Yeah.
Have you ever actually had the meatballs at IKEA?
No.
Okay, neither have I. All right, we're coming back to rally.
I'm Italian. Why would I have Swedish meatballs?
I don't know. Like, are the Swedes known for their meatballs?
I don't
The
care.
Swedes were known for their furniture.
Are the Swedes known for anything other than Volvo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
I don't know, but they're known for Volvo, so they're doing pretty good. Sorry. Rally Sweden, where there weren't any Volvos racing.
Rally Volvo Ibrahimovic.
Dude, Volvos are sick. Especially wagons, 850R, touring car.
Have you? Okay, another tangent. Have you seen the TikTok where it was like, is that a Krabby Patty? And then it's the, oh, and it's super distorted. But it showed the back of a Volvo wagon, and then it cuts to the front, and it's an R35 Nissan GTR, like, that's been welded to a Volvo station wagon body.
You sent it to me, and I'm going to absolutely call you out because that's not a Volvo wagon. It's called a Nissan Stagia, which is a Japanese market-only car, and it is actually a GTR wagon.
What? It's just an ordinary Krabby.
Exists,
I'm actually going to call you out, and then proceeds to show why he's so lonely. All right. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for that insight. You can take your Nissan, whatever the hell it's called,
Stagia,
and lay in bed with it.
So they made it for the R33 and the R34 generations.
Ben's
I don't think you get it for an R32.
I don't know why I'm so lonely. Maybe Nissan Stagia's why.
No, I know why. I'm just okay with it.
I need the meme. I need you to overlay it where it's the guy looking over his shoulder and holding your hand as women, but it's you turning over your shoulder and it's a Nissan Stagia Photoshop.
I will absolutely do it. It'll be like a really horrible grainy Photoshop.
Of course.
Too.
Yeah,
That'll be really bad. That'll be right. Actually, that'll probably just be the thumbnail. Rally Sweden. I think that's what we were talking about. Ott Tanak won Rally Sweden this year for the second year in a row, which is quite impressive considering he was in a Hyundai last year and is in a Ford this year. So well done, Ott Tanak. Apparently, he just knows that rally. And Craig Breen had an outstanding rally, despite the fact that he was in a Hyundai this year and a Ford last year. So they did a little swip.
Wow.
Both of them had a good time.
That is so cute.
I know, it's adorable. So I hate you. I hate you a lot. So Ott Tanak won the rally in his M Sport Puma with a time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 54.5 seconds, with only one stage win over the whole weekend. Craig Breen came second in his Hyundai i20N with a time of 2 hours, 26 minutes, 13.2 seconds, with 4 stage wins, and Thierry Neuville came third in his Hyundai i20N, just 1 second behind Craig Breen at 2 hours, 26 minutes, 14.5 seconds, and he won 5 stages. So Thierry had a very slow start to the first half of the rally, to Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday just picked it up and won basically all of Sunday.
Hey, this is really random, but because he's interrupting, I think we have a mascot, and the clutch dump dog can officially be Watson.
Hi, Watson.
I think you should be the clutch dump dog.
Nick, I just want you to know that for the thumbnail, I'm not going to put a picture of you. I'm just going to put a picture of Watson, actually.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, so and I'm actually just going to use that for all the thumbnails. No one's ever going to see your face again. And I'm going to put that Photoshop over your face for the whole YouTube video.
I'll make sure to copyright strike our own channel just so it never airs.
So, yeah, that was the premier class of WRC. And I'm going to talk about WRC 2 because Oliver Solberg won Rally Sweden for WRC 2.
Oh, yeah,
so well
he's
done,
Swedish.
Oliver.
You won Sweden.
And his last name is Solberg, so he's destined to win.
Well, right,
everything.
except you were too young to really appreciate that, but, whatever.
I'm sorry, we can't all be born in the 1940s. All right, and we're going to skip Formula E because I didn't make notes for it. But I'll put
fantastic.
Well, here,
guys, Formula E happened. There you go.
When Formula E did happen, I did watch it. I just forgot to make notes on it.
Do you want to do IMSA?
Oh my gosh, should we have IMSA news? Yeah, we can do IMSA news.
All right, well, guys,
IMSA.
So this week, because this was supposed to be recorded Friday, but now it's Monday. So this upcoming week, in a few days,
this week,
a total of 26 cars are taking part in IMSA's testing this week at Sebring. Now, the Sebring race is later this month, or maybe it's in March, actually. It's weeks away. But this is a test that they're doing, and the main purpose of this test is to tweak all the BOP guidelines. Specifically for the GT3 cars, that are new to the field in 2023. And if you say, okay, so what does that mean? We're talking BMW M4, 992, Porsche GT3R, and the Ferrari 296. Those three, but all the GT3 cars are going to be running. So you're going to have the entire field of GT3 cars running with the goal of more appropriately tuning and balancing the performance of the new cars to 2023 for competitiveness, which this really just goes back to episode 32 when we were talking about post-Daytona and how the BOP kind of unraveled, so to speak, for the GT3 field, but also the GTP. Unfortunately, they're not doing anything for the GTP field, but that's not to say that there won't be, over the course of practice and qualifying in March for Sebring, some more BOP adjustments
because
for
we're
the GTP
Americans,
field.
so we hate Porsches. We're just here for the Hondas. And hopefully, I don't know. I'm assuming this is when Garage 56 is doing their Sebring test, because they said they were doing a Sebring test. So
I don't know, but yeah, also since we last talked, Garage 56 was doing Daytona tests, and it made me wet. So
thank you for that information.
you're welcome. So next bullet
Pictures
point.
of a Camaro with headlights.
Yes, very good. So if y'all can remember, if you can cast your mind's eye back to the Dorito-filled Red Bull livery launch, Ford was there, and Ford said, "Hey guys, we're coming in F1." Yay.
And also, by the way, we completely forgot to mention that. So, just heads up, we suck. And big news, Ford's joining Formula One again.
And Ford also said in the same, he's disrupting again. Ford
he's
also
very
said,
excited.
I know, he's like, oh my god, Ford. Ford also said during the livery launch that they were going to be investing in a full-time GTP program in IMSA. And everybody was like, yay, yay. And then, this last week, Ford said,
No.
we take it back. You know what? We were drunk, said some things we shouldn't have. We're taking it back. So
apologize.
Ford is not running a GTP program.
Right.
And to which I have one thing to say. Cowards. Cowards. You didn't want to run against Cadillac and their big V8, and you didn't want to run turbo hybrid against Porsche and BMW. So you just decided to take your toys
No, but they
and go
totally
home.
snatched Porsche's spot in F1, though.
No, Audi did.
I'm proud of them for it. No, because Porsche was talking with Red Bull. That was the thing, right?
Right, but Porsche and Audi are both owned by VW. So VW was like, you're done. We're just going to throw Audi in there.
Fair enough. So, on that segue, Nick Patty, we should talk about Formula One.
No, we should not. We have more stuff to talk about. What are you doing?
We do have other things to talk about. We can segue to Formula One, or do you want to do other things?
I thought you said say Formula One at the end.
Well, don't. It's our podcast. We can do it however we want. All right, World Endurance Championship. What's happening? Just gonna throw you under the bus then.
So, totally random. Albert Costa Balboa, never heard of him, joins
No idea who that
Interpol
is.
in LMP2 for the 2023 WEC season. So if you're an
Yay.
Inter-Europol fan or Albert Costa Balboa, yay.
Congratulations.
The Ferrari 499P tested at Sebring last week. And let me tell you, if you have
Would that
not
have
looked
been
up on
last week, or would
YouTube,
that have been the week before?
week before, 2 weeks ago. If
Okay.
you have not watched the 499 video of it going around Sebring, you're missing out. lastly, Stoffel Van Dorn, your favorite good-for-nothing Belgian driver, has joined Peugeot as a reserve driver for the 9X8 in 2023.
Which is the best looking.
If you were a 2017 McLaren Stoffel Van Dorn fan and you're still here,
I'm just a Peugeot fan, so we're stoked. We're stoked.
All right.
All right. Australian V8 supercars. Nick Patty and Ben Walther's newest favorite season, or newest favorite class of. The new thing that we like is
V8s.
and they have V8s in them.
Ben and Nick drive Chevy pushrod V8s, and there's a racing series with Chevy pushrod V8s. Yay!
That's all we got left.
This is what our lives are.
This is it. This is all we have. Cadillac failed us. Corvette failed us. So you know what? We have to go.
I need to get Watson a Chevy bandana.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's only appropriate.
Absolutely. But the big thing with the Australian V8 supercars is as we approach the start of the Gen 3 era.
Yes, indeed.
We have livery launches. And frankly, man, are they almost all good.
I don't think I've seen one that I've been like, that's ugly. I've seen one where I'm like, that's not my favorite, but I haven't seen one where I'm like, that's ugly.
Yeah, so there will be pictures that I'm totally stealing.
I would just do a slideshow.
By the way, all credits to the Supercar Instagram, because I'm totally stealing these off of your Instagram.
Oh, absolutely.
But dude, they're so good.
So let me ask you this, Ben. What's your favorite? So obviously, as you're editing, you can pop up which ones we're talking about. But what's your favorite V8 Supercar livery that we've seen so far?
I'm scrolling through the gram as we speak. And for starters, the Coca-Cola Camaro looks outstanding because Coca-Cola.
Okay, but is that your favorite?
It's not my favorite. The Pizza Hut Camaro was a guilty pleasure. I will be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it. The Castrol liveried Mustang. I'm so about it. I think the S650 is such a good shape, and I really want a Mustang. So I think the Castrol. I think the Castrol S650 is the business. Nick Patty, your favorite shape? Not your favorite shape, your favorite livery.
So I know
your favorite shape's the Camaro. Yes.
The Coca-Cola is
really good.
Actually, I have three. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
You're allowed. It's your podcast.
Or the Middy's Electrical Chevrolet with the pink and the black on the front end and then the blue up on the rocker.
Yeah.
But the one Ford pick has got to be the Mobile One.
The Mobile One? Yeah. Yeah. Wait, which Mobile One? Which one?
The Walkinshaw Andretti United.
Okay, so not the one that Zach Brown owns.
Not the one that says Optus on the side. The one that says NTI in all black. The number two car.
So the number one car, which is the Optus livery car, the number 25 car, which there will be a picture of here. I don't fully understand the connection here, but apparently Zach Brown / McLaren own this car, sponsor this car, something like that. So because Zach Brown posted about it, I will put his Instagram post here. But dude, so far they're all good. Other thing that I forgot about, I'm going to change my statement. I lied. Not the Castrol liveried Mustang.
You're going to say the Pennzoil or the Shell?
No, I'm going to say the blue Red Bull Camaro. Big fan. Blue and silver Red Bull.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yep.
Big fan.
Huge fan.
Huge fan.
We'll be drinking Red Bulls as we stay up to watch the races live on Australian time.
Yeah, which to be fair, hats off to the Australians because they have to watch the entire Formula 1 season at like 2 in the morning. So
hey, you know what's completely random and I totally forgot to mention is we have some F1 news.
We're getting to F1.
Oh, I meant NASCAR.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't even know the difference. What?
Here's why. Here's why.
There can't. Okay.
That's why I don't know the difference. So.
That's fair. Okay.
Daytona for the Daytona 500 has been entirely sold out. Like.
Really?
Infield, camping, grandstands. There is not a ticket to spare, which is awesome for NASCAR. Good job.
Really good.
Like,
Round of applause for NASCAR. Well done.
I think Daytona is the second largest venue behind Talladega. Not just track, but venue.
Here's the thing. I'll say this. NASCAR, I'm not interested in you. I will be honest.
They're doing a good marketing job, though.
But I'll tell you what, though. You can sell out a stadium. I'll give you that.
And so here's the second bit of news from Adam Stern on Twitter, sportsbusinessjournal.com reporting.
Yes.
NASCAR is in active talks to bring a race to New York City. A New York City street race, bro, through Times Square?
Oh, bro. Yo, okay, hold on. When is the Chicago race?
Okay, so hold on. Before you get distracted, you got to listen to this.
No, I don't.
They're also looking at possible cup races in Denver, Seattle, Canada. Here's the one I'm really ready for. And
Wait, hold up. Canada?
And Mexico. What if they run at the F1 track in Mexico? The cup cars to the stadium section? Tell them. Yes! Yes! Ben's excited about NASCAR. Ladies and gentlemen, please drop something in the chat.
No. Here's the thing. Hold up. Let me clarify. I'm excited about NASCAR because they're turning right. There you go. I said.
And last but not least, they're considering an international racing series in the Middle East.
When?
So whenever the terrorists decide to bomb a NASCAR race, the drivers can step out of their car with a 45.
Fair. July. We gotta wait all the way till July for the Chicago race, bruh. Is that the first? Is that the first street race for?
To my knowledge,
is it the first street race for NASCAR, or at least in a
period
really long time?
I think it's period.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Okay, I'm going to talk about motorcycles.
Yes,
for a
and I'm
very
going to try
long
not
time.
to fall asleep.
I'm going to talk about motorcycles for a very long time. And I'm going to start with not MotoGP. Because we have some MotoAmerica news, and that is Andy DeBrino will race select Supersport races on an MV Agusta F3R. If you don't know what MV Agusta is, it's kind of like a pretentious Ducati.
But better looking.
But better looking, and it's a triple, so it sounds better. Don't hurt me, Jacob. So he'll be running select races on an MV Agusta F3RR.
Hey,
and those races,
it's Jacob's fault he didn't go get an MV Agusta.
We don't have a dealership here. It's actually really inconvenient to own one.
Oh no! But if you're in the market, you don't care. So
no, you do. It's for motorcycles. You do. When you have to have the motor taken apart every 7,000 miles, you do. You really do.
Yeah, but if you have the money, it doesn't matter.
MV Agusta money is different than Ducati money.
That's my point.
Trust me, I've checked. So I edit this, so I'm just going to cut all this out. But MV Agusta select Supersport races, and those races will be Road America in June, Ridge Motorsports Park in June, Laguna Seca in July, Coda in September. Nick, what do you do in September 8th through 10th? We're going to a MotoAmerica race.
Works for me if you'll actually show up.
And for motorcycle stuff, I'll show up. At September 22nd through the 24th at New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Joke's on you. I might not live here in September, so.
Where are you going to live in September? Anyway, we'll get to that later. So his MV Agusta will be prepared by the Oregon-based Competition Works, and that's quirky, so it's WERKES, which is an MV Agusta dealership.
It's contrarian.
And they're running MV Agustas because KTM bought a...
Because they're contrarian.
Yes, and because MV Agusta was... A large stake of it was bought by KTM, so supposedly they'll be more reasonable and less of a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
However, we do have the actual start of the MotoGP season, not like last week when I said we had the start of the F1 season, and really we just had stickers on cars that weren't real. We actually have bikes going around in
and Coda is what, next month?
Coda is April.
Oh, okay, so 2 months from now.
The first race is March 26th.
So I was at my parents' yesterday.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, Dad, MotoGP is coming to Coda soon. My dad just goes, yep. And I was like, fishing for does that mean you're getting me a ticket?
Does that mean we're going?
He just goes, yep, and keeps watching soccer. And I'm like, do I need to buy tickets?
Well, I've already assembled a posse of people who are going.
Of course you have.
If you'd like to join the posse, you're more than welcome. Well, see, I've infected my friends with a disease called motorcycles. It's a very expensive disease.
And you can get it from unprotected sex or drinking out of the same container.
I'm also cutting that out. That will also not be in there. Man,
I feel like you're really
come April 14th, there will be MotoGP at Coda. But we do have MotoGP testing in Sepang, so it would have been not last weekend, but the weekend before would have been the Sepang Shakedown, which is when all of the test riders and the rookies are allowed to go onto track. And the big news from that was that the Yamaha is 3.5 kilometers an hour faster than last year, which doesn't seem like a big deal until you remember that the Yamaha was down on top speed from everything else, and that's basically all that Fabio Quartararo asked for. So thankfully they have some more top speed. Cal Crutchlow, yes, Cal Crutchlow still exists and still rides motorcycles. Topped the timesheets for the Shakedown with a time of 2 minutes, 1 second, .146, which, as you'll hear in a second, isn't that fast. And Augusto Fernandez, who is the Rookie of the Year, or will be the Rookie of the Year, because he's the only rookie on the grid this year, clocked a time of 2 minutes, 1 second, .331, putting him second behind Crutchlow on his Gas Tech 3.
the gas.
The Gas, which I'm stoked for some merch.
Hey, what does your motorcycle run on, bro? It runs on the gas.
Oh my gosh. That should be their advertisement, though, because that's kind of hilarious.
It's like, hey, yo, did you see Jonathan? What, it's European or Australian. Hey, mate, did you see Jonathan got himself a new motorcycle? Oh, yeah, it's one of the gases.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, random.
Please, yes.
But Faf tweeted asking, in partnership with Driveway, which is their main title sponsor,
Okay.
what's in your driveway? So I responded. And then Driveway said, we want to be friends with you, ! With a heart eye emoji. And I was like, you want to throw me some VIP passes, too? I was like, we can be friends for a price.
Anyway, I'm going to talk about this. So
Back to motorcycles.
Formula One. So, topping the timesheets over... Formula One. Over 3 days.
Formula One Pablo Montoya.
What did he race in?
He raced in Formula One.
Is that what it was? Okay, yeah.
Well, he raced in Formula One for William Sauber when it was
Yeah.
BMW. And then
Yeah.
he raced in NASCAR. And then he raced in IMSA and Grand Am and stuff. And he is the sad son of a gun that in NASCAR crashed into a jet dryer and it blew up in the middle of the Daytona 500.
That was him? What?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I knew that story, but I didn't know that was him. I knew that was some guy we don't talk about anymore.
A man
All
who
right.
beat Michael Schumacher in a worse car crashed into a jet dryer under caution.
Unfortunate.
What you either live long enough to you either be what's the goddamn saying?
No, I'm letting you struggle through that one. That's all
You either see yourself become a hero, and it's like Juan Pablo Montoya going around the outside of like turn 6 at Imola around Michael Schumacher, or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain and you're in a Target sponsored car, a Tomorrow Cup Series car, and you plow into an F350 jet dryer.
rough, dude. Rough. That's rough. Well, so we had 3 days of testing in Sepang, which is exciting because we get to see the new bikes. Because as we know, livery launches, which we'll get to, especially in Formula One, they don't show the new bikes. They're just like, here's some...
Well, of course they don't show the new bikes.
Well, but like they just show stickers on a bike that isn't last year's bike.
Except
So,
you're still saying bike. F1 launches don't show the car.
Nick, we're talking about MotoGP right now.
It's okay, because you said unlike F1, it's stickers on a bike. And I'm like, no, it's stickers on a car. Also, Aston Martin, by the way, we'll get to this. Aston Martin actually showed the 2023 car. Like, that's the actual car.
Did they?
Yes, because when they interviewed...
Have we seen that car on track?
Yes. No, we haven't. And if when they interviewed the technical director, Dan Fallows, he literally points out on the car sitting there the brand new parts of it.
Well, there were new parts on all the other cars, too.
Okay, well, the new parts, my point is it's the car they showed is Aston Martin's 2023 competitor.
All right. We'll get to that when we go to F1.
Yes, we will, but we're still
Anyway,
talking about
MotoGP
stuff.
Sepang Test, Jorge Martin for Pramac Ducati was your fastest average rider over the weekend with a 1:58.559, which I actually find quite funny because the two people he was faster than were the people on Lenovo Ducatis, which is the seat he was trying to get last year. Nick Patty, could you try to look the slightest bit interested in this? It pains me. Okay.
See, the great part is you can't cut this because you'll cut your own segment.
Total tangent. No, I'll just voice over it later. I'll just do this. I don't need you for this. For this part, not necessary. Okay, slight tangent because we're only 40 minutes in. Nick Patty, I still don't get why don't you ride a motorcycle?
Because I have a wife to support. I have dogs to provide for. I am not a lonely, losing son of a gun.
I've talked 3 people with wives into buying.
All I know of is Jacob Villamain. Name the other 2.
Will and Shay.
Don't know either of them.
Cool. We're going to go get Shay's race car this weekend, and Will's got a sick Mustang.
As far as I know, they might not exist.
Yeah, I could have listed 50 names that don't exist. Those 2 do exist. Anyway, you should have a motorcycle. It does, in theory, the way you talk about cars, it checks all the boxes.
Here's the thing. If I own a motorcycle, it'll be like my dad owns a motorcycle. It'll be a double-digit $1,000, it's a 90-year-old motorcycle that's a display piece. That's how I'll own a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's fine. You can ride those. That's okay.
No, I wouldn't ride it. It would.
Why not?
I would spend over 10 grand on a motorcycle that's a work of art to just sit and look beautiful.
Yeah, that's fine. Buy another one.
No.
No. Nick, because here's the thing. The proper amount of motorcycles is N+1. That's how many motorcycles you should have. However many you have right now.
The fact you're using the same formula you use to rationalize how I should get a 4th-gen Dale Earnhardt Camaro or Monte Carlo in addition...
It's the same math. It's the same thing. How many Camaros should you own? More than you have now. How many motorcycles should you have? More than you have now.
Which, yesterday on the way to my parents, I saw a 69 396 SS in Hugger Orange with white stripes on 46, and it sounded so good. Yeah.
I might have worked on that car. Maybe.
You might have.
I've worked on like 5
That explains why it
Orange
broke
cars.
down. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna swing around back.
Hey, this was your tangent, brother. I'm just here for the moment.
It was my tangent because you don't have a motorcycle for some reason. I'm sure Shelby would allow you. I'm sure she'd be fine with it.
Yeah, listen, if she won't let me get a Monte Carlo, she won't let me get a motorcycle.
The Monte Carlo's a bad idea, Nick. No, Nick. See, here's the thing. I want you to get a motorcycle. Shelby does not. No one wants you to get a Monte Carlo. That's the difference. Shelby, one would talk to
Shelby
you.
Shelby told me the only Dale Earnhardt cars I can get is a race used Cup Series car.
That's reasonable.
So X that off the list.
Okay.
Or the one of 10 supercharged 5th gens that Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet made in 2010.
Also reasonable.
Check that off the list.
Your wife's a smart lady.
I go from the money.
Yeah. So don't buy anything. It's quite simple. If you don't have money, don't buy anything. Don't be like, I want a Dale car, so I will go buy a crappy Monte Carlo. I want a Ferrari. I'm not going to buy it.
Okay. All right. You know what? Enough of this soapbox preaching, all right? Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Will you commit in front of the listeners and viewers of the Clutch Dump?
No, I won't. But go ahead. Yes. So
that you will race in the 24 Hours of Lemons with me and my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Because here's what I'm thinking.
Virtual shake on it.
We're going to go completely off topic. Completely off.
Yeah,
also, this might be YouTube short. Who knows?
Shorts don't make
I have found, for less than $500, Chevy Luminas.
I'd be down for
Hypothetically, you're a fabricator. What if we just built a Cup Series looking car?
Yeah.
Spray painted it black or with truck bed liner.
Yeah, dude. We're going to turbo can that thing black and then just put a big old number 3 on the side. It'll be hilarious.
And then we all race drunk with pit vipers.
I don't know about all of that, but yeah, that's fine. There's a couple details that we could leave out, but yeah,
You're
that's
like,
fine.
listen, like, yes, yeah, like, sure.
I agree with most of that, yes. But here's the thing, though, is if we're building...
And we got to put a clutch stump sticker on it.
Yeah, but that'll be the only sticker that's forward. We'll print all the vinyl backwards, so the whole livery is backwards because it's not a real Dale car, so we'll do it all backwards, and then there'll be a clutch stump sticker on it.
See, I think it would be funnier if instead of Lumina, we just put Monte Carlo on it. Like, just completely, like a Ford badge with Monte Carlo on a Chevy Lumina.
Yeah.
See, you didn't laugh, so clearly that wasn't...
We'll also get in like an LED screen because I can build LED boards, and we'll put it in the back window so at night it just flashes "Do It for Dale" behind us, just constantly.
You know what would be funny is we find a clip, and I found one. I put it on my Snapchat story. You might have seen it. We find the clip of Dale pulling down his polarized goggles and just. And then put it back up, and it's that over and over. Like, after we pass somebody, it's just Dale going...
It's so good. It's awesome. It's perfect. Can we talk about motorcycles, Nick? Fast ones, preferably made of carbon fiber.
I thought we already did.
Okay, so Jorge Martin was the fastest over the weekend, followed by...
Oh, we're going to talk about motorcycles?
And Enea Bastianini on Lenovo Ducati. I'll put up a screenshot here of my little chart thingy of the fastest times and the averages over the weekend because y'all don't want to hear me talk about all of this. But what I will talk about is Pecco Bagnaia and Luca Marini. Because, for starters, Luca Marini was top of the leaderboard on day 3 on the most satellite of satellite Ducati teams, which is the Mooney VR46
like,
team.
if it's a satellite, it's out near Pluto. Satellite.
Exactly. And he was the first rider to ever break into the 157s around Sepang with a 157.889, closely followed by Pecco Bagnaia, who did a 157.969. The other thing I'd like to talk about is that Fabio Quartararo finished, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th as an average for this weekend. And everyone in front of him was on a Ducati, aside from one Maverick Viñales. Maverick looked incredibly fast this weekend. Apparently, he figured out the Aprilia finally. He needed a year, but he figured it out. So hopefully we can see Maverick up front this year. Quartararo 10th, not looking good. I will be honest. And the other Yamaha of one Franco Morbidelli was way down at the bottom. So there's really no point in talking about that. I'm almost certain that this is Morbidelli's last season in GP.
Why? That's so sad.
He was really slow last year. He was fast in 2020. He came second in the championship in 2020. In 2021, he got injured, was out, came back in 22, and was dog slow, and looks dog slow again this year. And the Yamaha's just not good. I'm going to go ahead and say it, so I can clip this later. I presume that one Jorge Martin will leave Pramac Ducati to take the second seat at Factory Yamaha next year. That's
Here's one already liveried.
Perfect. Yeah, it's $16,000, Nick.
Yeah, imagine asking $16,000 for a Chevy Lumina.
Imagine wanting to put money into a Monte Carlo. The other thing that
I
we need
can't
to talk
imagine.
about. The other thing that we need to talk about, Nick, which you will actually be interested in, is the Marquez brothers. Because well, you've been following MotoGP for like 100 years, so you're aware of who Marc Marquez is.
Unfortunately, I remember when he was just a snot-nosed rookie.
Marc Marquez finished 4th to last on his Honda. And he was 11 spots behind his brother Alex Marquez, who was on a Honda last year, and then Alex Marquez got on a Ducati, and he's really fast. So I'm very excited to see Alex Marquez. I'm assuming... Well, here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, Alex Marquez isn't actually that good because they stuck him on a Honda and he didn't do anything. Everyone forgets that he won a Moto3 championship and then a Moto2 championship.
A Moto3 championship?
And then came to MotoGP. This is why no one likes you, Nick.
Listen, Guy, if it's not Valentino Rossi or Nicky Hayden, I don't want it. See, here's the thing that you whippersnappers don't understand.
Yes, whippersnappers.
Here's what I grew up on.
Yes.
Alonso, Schumacher, Rossi, Casey Stoner,
Big Stoner fan, yeah.
Prime Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah.
And I forgot his name, but he was from Finland, and he was my favorite rally driver because he wasn't Sebastian Loeb.
Okay.
Him.
that
Him.
guy.
Prime Scott Dixon. I'm talking also Scott Pruitt, Memo Rojas, Max Angelelli, and Wayne Taylor when he was a driver. So, like, when we're over here, and we're talking about Marc Marquez on the back of his career, and his younger snot-nosed brother, who might have won something lower down, or Oscar Piastri, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've seen the best of my generation and the previous generation, the generation
Nick,
before that.
I have questions. Are you just gonna, when all of the drivers that you follow stop racing, are you just gonna stop watching racing?
I'm not kidding you. I will be a lot less like F1. I'll watch, but I will not care nearly as much. Here's the thing: when Alonso got that podium in 2021 in Qatar, whatever you want to call it,
sure,
I genuinely was crying. When he retires, like, who am I going to cheer for? My number 2 pick was Ricardo, and now he's a reserve driver.
Nick, literally anyone else. Because here's the thing.
The other people are literally kids.
Nick, they have to be. They can't all be 75 like Alonso. They have to be kids.
Why can't they be 75 like me?
Because you're old. You don't want old people.
No, I won't accept it.
Nick,
I won't.
Here's the thing. Literally, the only driver-specific merch that I have is Rossi merch, and that's it.
Right.
Just because that's.
But even by the time you were able to, what year were you born? 2002.
Yes.
So the year you were like able to remember Rossi was already past most of his championships.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm not allowed to be a Rossi fan?
No. I'm just saying, like, when he's gone, having witnessed all that, and when Alonso's gone, having witnessed all his success, and when Scott Pruitt retired or Max Angelelli,
you
it's
just
like,
go watch someone else for the love of the sport, Nick. You old fart.
But the only reason I liked MotoGP was because of this Italian guy with curly hair who some Italian priest sacrilegiously believed is more holy than Jesus.
Well, it's because he is.
I saw a compilation today on TikTok or yesterday of Jeremy Clarkson, and it was like sayings that I say way too often from Top Gear, and it was like, Clarkson, you idiot! And then the other one was, it was like 7 clips of Clarkson going, baby Jesus, baby Jesus.
But, like, here's the thing. I was, still am giant Rossi fan, as you will have known from the many comments that Nick has, and the fact that there's a Rossi flag there, and there's Rossi merch there, and a hat over there, and shirts in there. I'm a big Rossi fan. And you know what happened when Rossi left GP? I started following GP more. That's what happened, because I had to follow other people to still be interested in the sport.
You know what? You wouldn't get it. Your favorite MotoGP driver as a kid wasn't killed by a motorist who wasn't paying attention.
You don't understand.
To be fair, I was a Nicky Hayden fan against Valentino Rossi, and then when Nicky Hayden retired, I was like, well, I guess I'm cheering for Rossi. So you don't know what it's like. And then Alonso was hit by somebody on a bike and nearly died.
Okay, can we talk about why are all racing drivers and motorcycle? Why does everyone get hit on? Why is everyone in bicycle accidents?
Probably because they're all in Monaco, and Monaco doesn't know how to design a roadway.
But like seriously, just hey, everyone gets hit. Stop riding bicycles. Like
Alex Zanardi was hit too.
Literally everyone gets hit. Like it was last year. There were like 4 people that I follow who got hit on a bicycle, and I was like,
it's like you can race Monaco in a Formula 1 car
safer than riding a bicycle. Safer than bicycles are killing people, out to get you.
We should outlaw them.
Yeah, outlaw bicycles, buy a motorcycle.
We needed an assault bicycle ban.
Exactly. Well, I've wasted enough time not talking about MotoGP. Nick, Patty, would you like to rant about Formula 1? Because I know you want to.
Is there another category that we... Oh, wait, we did V8 Supercars. Hold up.
We did V8 Supercars. Did we not take off of V8
Is
Supercars?
it just Formula 1? No, I didn't.
That's it. It's just Formula 1.
All right, hold on. Let me delete all this dog. Oh, wait, we didn't do automotive. Do you want to do automotive?
Is there anything interesting in automotive?
Well, you tell me. Go ahead and read that.
Porsche, no. GM, no. GM, no. Ford lost money. Moving on. Formula 1.
No. Ford Motor Company lost $2 billion last year.
We should
That's
talk
a lot
about
of
this.
money.
Because here's the thing, like,
It's all because of the goddamn Mach-E. Tell me I'm wrong. Your dad couldn't save the company.
you're probably right. To be honest. If we just kept building Mustangs, we'd be okay.
If there were more coyotes, we'd be all right.
Like, not $2 million.
That's surprising, though. Let's be $2
billion.
Like the size
Where
of
did it go?
most congressional
What do you mean you lost
bills.
it? What do you mean you lost it?
Yeah,
Where did you put it last? How did you lose it? It was right there.
Guys, Ford, let's backtrack. Where were we when we had it?
Right.
And where are we now that you've lost it?
They just need their mom to walk in. So you know how, like, when you
Fresh
were a
set
kid
of
and
eyes.
you'd lose something in your
Mom
room
would
and you'd look
always-
for
yep.
hours, and mom would walk in like 2 minutes later and find it.
And you know what your mom would say? Sometimes you got to move some things around.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta move something to look under it.
Right. We just need Ford's mom to come in. I'm sure they'd find it real quick.
Did you look under the S650 and find your $2 billion?
Exactly, dude. No, honestly,
Okay, but real talk. That's
it's probably
That's-
it's probably from all the recall stuff. Ford had more recalls than any other company last year.
What recalls did they have on what cars?
All of them, literally everything. Anything that has an EcoBoost in it has cam phaser problems.
I didn't even know that was an issue. I never heard of that.
Basically, the sensor that tells the computer where the camshaft is, like it's the camshaft position sensor, they just fail. All
The
of
sensor
them,
was
in
like
everything.
the sensor was like, oh my god, the camshaft's in the differential. Ah!
But Will, whom I talked about earlier,
Yeah.
who has a motorcycle and does exist, works at the Ford dealership in Bernie, and he said that like he does 5 or 6 cam phaser jobs a day. Like that's just all it is.
You forgot your camshaft in the garage.
Exactly. And it's freaking Ford putting multiple camshafts in their cars.
Imagine.
GM decided you only need one. They
Yep.
still work.
Well, so speaking of that, do you wanna talk about what I just highlighted?
Oh my gosh, GM out here doing God's work.
Dude, literally, when the executives
GM
of
is
GM,
the Lord's company.
when the when the executives of GM, maybe there's an edit here, when they walk the stairway to heaven, they get to the pearly gates. St. Peter's up there, and he goes, "My son." He goes, "What have you? Let me see your behavior." And whoever the head of GM is, and he goes
Right at the top, it's going to say, spent $834 million on a new V8.
Jesus, I spent $834 million in 2023 to build a brand new pushrod V8, and Jesus is going to be like, "My brother in Christ, you did it. You goddamn did it, boy."
My brother and me.
Jesus will pull up in a 7th gen Camaro. He'll do a fat burnout around the pearly gates, kick open the passenger door, and be like, "Get the hell on in here, son of a gun." And then he's gonna away. So anyway, assuming I'm not going to hell because of that,
Anyway.
you just need to play Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Even
But GM has announced an investment of $834 million. That's a lot of money, by the way.
in a
Developing
new, and
V8.
that's the thing is here's the key bit is if GM was just going to build a new V8, they could take most of the LS and the LT technology and put maybe 10 million along with it, and do a new version of it. But with this amount of investment, this has to be a ground up new V8.
Very excited.
Which
however,
here's the other thing, Ben. Question.
Nick, answer.
This is the discussion post portion of the podcast.
Yes.
Do you think Chevy will follow through on its commitment to end the Camaro in 2023, or do you think with a new V8 we're going to get a new Camaro? Because they've threatened to kill the Camaro like 2 or 3 times now.
Well, the Camaro has been killed 2 or 3 times now.
Right.
So, I mean, the Camaro after the 4th gen, it died for like what? 12
Well, no.
years
I
or
mean,
something
like they
that?
said in 2016, like, "Oh, we're done. We're going to kill it." And then, like in 2020 with COVID, they said we're going to kill it. Now they're like 2023 is the last model year.
Well, the problem is, Mopars sell really well.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they're
and
really
Ford.
cheap, and the Mustang sells super well. The Camaro's kind of the forgotten car, and the problem that Chevy has is the problem that they've created, and it's called the Corvette. And it's one of those things of it's like, if you option up an SS1LE, you're looking at like a $55,000-$60,000 car, and it's like, Stingray starts at like what, 70 grand or something like that.
Yeah, but to be fair, I'd take a 1LE over a base Corvette.
You would.
Would you not?
No, I would too.
Oh, okay. So reasonable people would.
We are not most people, Mr. Patty.
So reasonable people would, as in you who wants to cut a school bus and make it into a car hauler, and me who wants to LS4 swap a Monte Carlo. Us reasonable people.
Us reasonable, normal, simple-minded, perfectly stable individuals would pick a Camaro over a Corvette. But, the problem is the Corvette, and it's one of those things of it's just buying a new Camaro has become so expensive. Like, a ZL1 1LE costs more than a base Corvette. And it's like, no one tracks their ZL1 1LE, and no one tracks their base Stingray.
Except for the guy...
I was
going to say... Listen! I was just going to say there's a guy at Daytona that I didn't want to talk to. And he just comes up to me when we were standing outside the Camaro garage, and he goes... I got me one of these. And I was like, a GT4R? And he goes, no, it was the 01 1LE. And I was like, okay. And I turned away from him. He goes, mine's got 1,000 horsepower. And I was like,
all right,
Nate,
cool.
whose doesn't? Everybody, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I set a track record for the Z01 1LE around Daytona. And I was like, and apparently he's childhood friends with the France family's kids who owns NASCAR, IMSA, and Daytona.
Yeah.
And he was like, watch this video. And he's scrolling through, and there's naked women on his phone. He's trying to scroll through his camera roll to find the Z01. And he's like, here it is. He goes, watch me gap this Viper. And it's like, I'm not kidding you, Ben. The camera was like this.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And
that is accurate.
I'm like, wow, you really got that Viper
was that
ACR.
Viper Miata? I don't know.
Yeah. No, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, congrats, you have more money than I'll ever have, and you
Fantastic.
built a ZL1?
I'm gonna go away. But the problem is that Corvettes aren't realistically that much more money than Camaros.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just, Camaros are
Par
expensive.
for the course.
So, I think they'll kill it, and I think they'll bring it back, and I'm very worried that it's going to be some hybrid thingy. However, I don't think... Because now, GM, if you're listening, which you're not, but if you are...
GM, please listen.
Now is the time, because Dodge is killing the Challenger and the Charger. They've already said they're leaving, they're going electric. However, we're going to have a new Mustang for 8 years.
Well, so this is what I told my wife, and in case you don't know, I have a lovely Chevy girl as my partner. But
this is true. Her Camaro is cooler than Nick's. Anyway,
it is by far. She said, or I asked her, I was like, listen, with the S650 coming out, I was like, do you think Chevy's just going to sit there and take that? Oh, here's a new Mustang, and everybody's oohing and awing about it, and it's going to come out, and then they're going to it's. And it's not like I think we're still in the 60s where it's a muscle car competition, a Cold War about who's going to have the coolest muscle car.
But man, it'd be nice.
But if Chevy doesn't come out with a Camaro, we already know Stellantis is going to EV chargers and shit. That the 392s and the Hellcats are going away.
Yeah, end of this year.
So one, all of that Mopar market share is going out the window or to Ford if Chevy doesn't make a competitor. If Chevy comes out with a Camaro, it easily takes 40% of the market. And let's say Mustang is 60, but currently Chevy has 15 or 20%.
Right.
So GM,
even though GM was the best-selling brand in America last year,
it's not because of muscle cars. It's trucks.
But it's not because of the Camaro. It's
I mean, if you look at Mustang, it's so for those of y'all listening or watching, hi. Genuinely, sit back and think to yourself, how many EcoBoost or V6 Mustangs do you see on the road? We're not just talking V8s, guys. When we say Camaro or Mustang, we're not talking the GT or the SS. Granted, that's part
all
of
of
it.
them.
We're talking
most of them aren't
the
V8s.
entry-level Camaros or Mustangs, which is what most people buy. They're looking for a cooler, reasonable car.
Daily. Yeah.
It's the 4-cylinder EcoBoost or the 4-cylinder Camaro and the V6.
Yep.
How many Camaros do you realistically see? I told Shelby I genuinely see less first iteration 5th gen SS's than I do like Z01s. Like I see more 5th gen Z01s than I do a 5th gen
Honestly,
SS.
I can't think of. I'm trying to think of my drive home today. I can't remember if I saw a 6th gen. I'm sure I did.
But Mustangs are everywhere. The only question is V8 or V6. Oh, I can't tell. And here's the thing.
Right.
Our commute is on I-10, the biggest highway in the country. Like if we were going to see like a car, like it's the largest highway in the country. It would.
Right.
So if Chevy doesn't, I think it is like
Missed
if they
opportunity, for sure.
if they spend nearly $1 billion on a new V8. And new V8 means not the C8 V8. It is a entirely new V8. And then they say, psych, it's for the C801 and we're not making any Camaros. Like,
right. So, which, to be fair, they might just abandon the Camaro and dump all their money into the Corvette. They might do it. Which would be a shame, I think, but because then they're going down the, like if Porsche did make a Cayman kind of thing.
Right. Well, Ben, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So my father-in-law religiously listens to these episodes.
Hi, father-in-law.
Hi, Jeff. So I have a question. Can
Yes.
you ask him to do what I would love for him to do and take a C7 ZR1 for a COTA track weekend?
That'd be pretty sick.
That would be really cool.
I'll be honest, I drove.
You should totally do that.
What day was it? Friday.
Yeah.
A lovely person, a lovely lady, stopped by the shop and let me drive her supercharged C7. It's very cool. This is a C7 Stingray. It's got a Pro Charger on it. It looks very unassuming. It's gray. It's got stock wheels. It makes 600 wheel horsepower. It's really cool. And I gave it a rip. It's really fast. So I'm assuming that a ZR1 is significantly better than that. So you should indeed COTA track that.
He has the whole track package and everything. So like,
well then it's just not okay to not do it. You're legally obligated.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on.
Right.
I'm trying to take it to the track.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Nick, what is this Porsche thing that you put in front of my face? What is this?
Yeah, so basically, is it Car and Driver? Let me switch over. Yeah, so Porsche claimed in their omniscience that a base 992 GT3 would be faster than a Cayman GT4 RS. Now, Ben.
Yes.
What motor do both of these cars have?
I believe those would... I think the GT4S comes with a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6.
Oh, man, you would be so right.
And the 992 GT3 comes with a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6.
Wow, thanks for that insight. That is really something.
Yeah.
So, Ben, let me ask you this. Which car typically has better balance, a mid-engined car or a car with the engine hanging over the rear axle?
Well, if the later RSR 911s and the current GT3R are anything to go by, I'd say mid-engine would be the way to go.
That's crazy you say that, because the Cayman has that mid-engine. Okay. So,
yes.
Okay, yeah. Ben, what car has more carbon aero and ground effects on it? The Cayman GT4 RS or a base GT3?
I believe that would be a Cayman GT4 RS.
So you're telling me that the Cayman GT4 RS has every performance advantage possible? And Porsche's like, no, base GT3 is faster. So Car and Driver track tested these cars around VIR. And Porsche claimed that the GT4 RS, let me rewind, GT4 RS versus the GT3. The GT3 would always be faster. And then Car and Driver was like, let me just try that.
Physics says otherwise.
Let me just, test that. The GT4 RS around VIR consistently lap over lap was faster by around 3/10 of a second. Right, but of course, so like, did Porsche think like, oh, we will tell them that the GT4 RS is the faster, or we will tell them that the GT3 base is the faster car. No one will question. No one will take
because they need to sell 911s.
Right. So let's rewind. I told my dad when they announced the GT4 RS and said it was coming with the 4-liter flat 6.
It was going to be a problem.
I said, like, Porsche is completely undercutting the GT3. Like,
Yeah.
Porsche is going to completely write off the 911 as a viable performance car option.
Yeah.
Because you could just go get the GT4 and it would be better. Mm-hmm. It's got, like, in my opinion, the Cayman should always have a deficit in terms of the displacement.
Yeah.
Okay, the GT4 RS has more aero than a base GT3. Give it the 3.6 or the 3.8.
Hold up. Internet, I hear you. Yes, I know. The GT4S makes like 10 less horsepower than the GT3. We know
10
that.
less horsepower does not matter. It doesn't matter.
It's the same thing.
It is.
I mean, and here's the thing: it is the 911 when the what was it? Not 986, 987.
Yeah.
When the original
GT4
came out,
987.
That was the whole thing. I remember watching the Motor Trend video. Jason Camisa did a whole thing. It was like a whole Porsche boardroom spoof or whatever.
And that was the thing is
about
the Cayman
everyone's like,
was
oh my
just about as good as the GT3, but it wasn't quite.
Well, it was
there.
one of those things of it was like they can never put a 911 motor in a Cayman because it will be better. Physics says it will be better. It's a smaller car, it's a lighter car.
Yeah, it's smaller, lighter, better balance. What if we give it nearly the same horsepower? Do you think the consumers will notice?
Like, I hope, Porsche, if you're listening to this, which you're not.
Porsche's over here, they're like, good thing nobody has the money to buy the Cayman GT4 RS and the GT3. They can't test it.
Like, I'll be honest, I think Caymans look really good. I'm not saying they look better than 911s.
Right.
911s still looks better. But I think Caymans look really good. And I'm just saying if we could get, like, a Cayman GT2 RS, that'd be really cool. Just saying, that'd be, like...
A Cayman GT4 twin-turboed?
That'd be, like, really fast.
Here's the thing, though. And this is what I don't understand. A Cayman GT4 RS goes for what, like $240?
So, too much money for a Cayman,
But a
yes.
GT3 RS goes for like $450.
So, much more money.
Like,
Yeah.
granted, now I don't want people to be like, "Oh, you said the base GT3." Yes, the GT3 RS is faster than the 4 RS.
Right.
However, if you're going to spend nearly double for the GT3 RS, are you getting double the performance? And the answer is no.
The reason why it was okay, the GT4 existed and the GT3 existed, was because the GT4 was significantly cheaper. So it was okay
you could get
slower.
a 981 GT4.
Right.
For new, they were like 170, but you can get them used for $100,000.
Right.
Compared to a GT3 RS of the 991 or the 991.2 generation, those were all well over 200.
Right. So they were significantly cheaper, so the fact that they were slower was okay. But the problem is now a GT4 RS costs GT3 money.
And is faster.
So those people will cross-shop now.
Well, and it doesn't even... I mean, I guess it depends. If you ordered like a non-optioned GT3 and just a regular color base... Mm-hmm. It's the same price as a GT4 RS. But if you buy a GT3 like anybody else does, and it's paint to sample,
option it to
or
have
it's got good options,
sports
or stuff like that,
and all that
no, it's not. You're still paying more.
Right.
So, and like GT3 Touring, granted, it's a touring car. It's not supposed to be for all-out performance.
Right. Even though this generation is not really that much touring. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, here's the thing: is yes, Porsche did create their own problem, but I can like.
But at the end of the day, if it's the same money and somebody just buys the GT4 RS, they're still paying the same amount of money.
Right.
For the relative performance.
Right. So, but, like, I could tell. I know that, like, the GT4S was Andreas Poininger, like, just poking at Porsche board and was like, guys, it could be really fast.
It could be good.
We could do it. He's like, I'll go build it. It'll be done by Saturday.
So, here's a perfect segue. And you're not going to believe I say this, but if I had a GT4 RS... or a C8 Z06, I'm taking the C8 Z06. The Z06.
Really? Fascinating.
Okay, so here's the thing. Prior to Daytona, I wouldn't have. Having seen one in person,
It's good.
Those carbon fiber wheels are
Looks good.
so good. And dude, the car is so wide. Like, you cannot understand how wide these cars are until you see them in person. The C8 is like as wide as my house.
Yeah, they're huge. Okay, so you brought... I hate to tangent off of this. Yes, C8 Z06. Awesome, congratulations.
Well, let me, before you tangent, Car and Driver basically is also testing the C8 Z06, and they basically said it is completely a track-focused monster. That's like all it's good for. So, anyways, that was the last point in automotive.
Oh, until Ben just remembered thing, because you said carbon fiber wheels, and did you see the carbon
Dark
fiber
Horse.
wheels on the Dark
They're
Horse?
ugly.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
You
Formula
agree?
One.
You agree?
Horrible.
Okay, good.
Like,
It's like,
Hey, what?
Ford.
Hey, what if we just put a 5-spoke wheel on there? Yeah, I like that, but what are we gonna do to make it stand out? Well, how about
Nothing.
it's just like a wooden paddle from a sorority or a fraternity,
Dude.
and we just put that sucker right in there, and we just make carbon fiber. I like it.
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Like we just talked about, the Mustang's all that's left.
okay, but real quick,
It's-
so please in editing, C8 Z06 wheel, moi, just, again, I'm probably going to get cut out for this, but like, arousing. The
Holy-
Dark Horse wheel? Like, I want to go drink enough to where I can throw up just to signify my
It's
displeasure
so
with this wheel.
bad. Like, in the fact that it's like an $8,000 option.
Well, and not to mention the
like-
fact that the GT500 with the carbon wheels and the GT350,
Look awesome.
oh, so good. Like, Ford,
We
you
have
did it
them.
so right. Just
We have them. Just put them on the car. Like, here's the thing.
Hey, Ford,
The
Ford.
the-
Done.
Exactly.
Just.
It's that simple. So, and like, it's I don't get it. It doesn't look good. I can't believe that went through as many hands as it did, and everyone was like,
Hey,
"Yeah,
what if we just made it look like a desk fan, and then put it in a tire? I like it.
oh."
This is why Ford sucks. Buy Chevy.
Nick, we need to move on to Formula One. We do. Can we move on to Formula One? Is that okay? Okay, so I'm gonna go through the bullet points before we get to liveries. Aston Martin was doing a tire test in Jerez.
It's Jerez. I would think a MotoGP fan would know that.
Sorry. Alonso was on track. Nick was happy.
It's Jerez.
Sorry. Alonso was on track. Nick was happy. Yeah, Ford and Red Bull, which we didn't talk about last time, which Nick Patty is upset about for some reason. Why is Nick Patty upset about this for some reason?
Because it's not Ford actually building a motor.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so we addressed that. Next.
Okay, but like that's the thing about engine manufacturers. Is like the people that build Ferrari's Formula One engines have no idea what the people who build the engines for the SF90 do, and vice versa. And the same thing for McLaren and Mercedes and everyone else.
But at
It's
least
totally
Ferrari
separate.
builds it. Or Renault builds it. Or so-and-so builds it. Ford is just giving money to Red Bull and saying, just put a
Well,
Ford
I'm sure
badge
there will be
on
a
it.
big Ford logo on the building, and the people will get paid, and it will say Ford Motor Company on their checks.
Don't get
Therefore,
paid
Ford is
in
building it.
$100 Benjamin Franklin goddamn bills, brother.
Exactly. And so, yes, Ford is building it. Technically.
Okay,
yes.
let's just get on to the next points.
Charles drove the 03 F1 car. There will be a video here for your, audio pleasure. Basically that.
We.
Now, before we talk about Is It Art, Red Bull, we talked about their launch last week, added a sponsor, Yeti. Cool. I like your coolers.
Neat.
Helmets. Nick Patty. Logan Sargent's helmet. God bless America.
You know what?
so good.
When Logan Sargent goes to Abu Dhabi and races, all of a sudden women will have the right to vote and democracy will reign. The prince will be thrown off it. Like, Logan Sargent is going to go around and he's going to have diarrhea on the track and it's just going to be the stars and stripes on the track. And I just love it. It's so America.
It's such a good helmet. When I saw it, I was like, that's just the right amount.
Not
of
to mention the fact he's from Florida. Like, the fact we just get to say, like, Florida man takes out Lewis Hamilton.
Florida. He's from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's so good.
Florida man wrecks Lewis Hamilton. Florida man wins WDC. Like,
I bet you at the Miami race, I bet you Williams says more merch than any other.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
For sure, dude. Let's see. Ben Sulayem steps away from the top spot in the FIA. This comes after his Twitter rant, whatever.
Well, yeah, and this is the weird thing, is most of the commentary online was like, oh my god, shock move. But everything, when you really read the articles, apparently this was planned from the very beginning. Yeah. So, for those of y'all listening, and you saw this news, this is not, as much as it kind of hurts us because we're bringing you the news, it's not shock news. This was supposed to happen. Right. It's just that it happened now, and it kind of caught people off guard.
Right. It was one of those, like, we just need you to come in and fix some things for now.
Right.
Which is similar.
So Ben Sulayem basically came in and goes, America can join, go Andretti, drop the mic, and he's like, I'm out of here.
And I'm going to leave. So it's kind of like the whole, the Yost Capito thing, when he left Williams, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, he just got here. And it's like, yeah, he only said he was going to be here for 2 years.
Wow, I just saw your comments on the AlphaTauri livery. You're so mistaken on that.
What? Okay, well then we're gonna get right into that. So we had livery launches, and we're gonna go in chronological order. So we're gonna start off with Alfa Romeo, which there will be pictures of the C43 here.
Good,
fantastic,
good,
much good.
Good.
So a trend you will have noticed from the previous episode, and from this episode, and from next week's episode, because tomorrow we have the Ferrari. And then at some point, and then the day after, we have Mercedes, and then like 2 days later, we have Alpine, which I'm sure no one will watch. For some reason, well, not for some reason, it's a really dumb reason. The cars, there's a lot of black on the cars this year, and here's the thing.
And if you can't tell, Ben doesn't like black.
No, if it was painted black, perfectly fine, would look cool. The problem is it's all bare carbon fiber.
No, I agree.
Everyone figured out if we just don't paint those sections, the car's lighter.
We will save a quarter of a pound.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like, oh, you're right, because you didn't wrap this section of the car, that'll make up for your gross engineering mistakes.
Right. So it's one of those things. It's going to be one of those, like, I can't remember which. I think it was P1 that I was listening to. They were talking about, like, it's going to be, like, 2 or 3 years from now if they don't make a rule that says you have to cover the whole car.
They're all just bare carbon.
They're all just bare carbon with just a stripe down the middle, and that's going to be it. So, dear FIA, if you fix nothing else, fix that. AlphaTauri livery. Nick Patty, you have opinions that I don't. I have opinions that you don't.
Yeah, so everybody on everywhere is saying that they hate this.
No. Be composed, Nick. Yes.
I have rationally come to the conclusion that aside from the Aston Martin livery, the AlphaTauri livery is the best looking livery on the field. And here's why.
I would 100% agree with you.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on.
However...
Hold on. Before you confuse me anymore.
Okay.
Here's the thing about the AlphaTauri livery.
Yes.
First of all, it is beautiful when you look at it from the top down because the AlphaTauri logo, instead of doing it left to right on both sides, they did it left to right on the left side and then right to left on the right side, so that when you look at it from the top down, it's completely symmetrical coming out from the... Mm-hmm. Good. Mm-hmm. Good. Secondly. Secondly. The fact that the entire... Secondly, the fact that the entire front end is white, and it's such a dramatic inversion from last season, it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, okay, same colors, but something is very different about it. Good. I'm glad it's not the livery from last year, because my favorite AlphaTauri Toro Rosso livery was when it wasn't white and muted blue. Like, can we just go back to the blue, silver, and red, please? Or Toro Rosso, like the actual gold rather than yellow, please.
Which was good,
but it's whatever. The red. I didn't know I needed red on this livery until I saw it, but it makes such, like, it, the fact it's not the deep reds that we see on Alfa or Ferrari, like, it's a proper bright red, in my opinion, looks so good. Like, I'm biased towards Aston because Alonso's on it. Realistically, this is the best livery we've gotten.
So, I agree. I'm totally about it. I like the new colors. I think it looks really good. I think they actually designed the livery. I think it's fantastic. The red, I think it looks good. It adds some pop to the livery. I'm about it. My problem is just that I don't like that it looks like a sticker. That bothers me. That's it. I just don't like
That's your problem?
That's it.
Okay, so we agree. It's a good livery. Next.
It's a great livery. Okay, did you watch the launch of it? Because another thing about this is the actual launches. Did you watch the launch of it?
I watched Matt, that used to be part of WTF1. I watched his video responding to the launch where he was like, what, that's it? It's over?
Yeah, so it was all of 2.5 minutes, which, like, was, like, a crazy shock because it was a video of, like, it was like a whole AlphaTauri thing, and then it just shows the car, and Nick DeVries and Yuki Tsunoda are standing there, and they're wearing some really puffy AlphaTauri jackets, because if you don't know, AlphaTauri is a fashion company. And they're standing there, and they launched it at New York Fashion Week, which had to be ungodly expensive.
I can't wait till they hit the cost cap.
I'm so excited for that. They actually designed a livery and did a cool launch. Blew all the budget already.
That's it, you're done.
So, yeah, it was, like, actually a good launch. I think it was a bit too short. Like, there was no talking bits. I wouldn't mind, like, someone saying something.
We'll get to the perfect amount here in just a bit.
Yes. Are you talking about the orange one or the green one?
We'll find out.
Okay. Next, we're going to talk about... well, we should talk about the orange one, because the orange one technically launched first.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I really like it.
It's better than last year. It's more orange.
Better than last year's. More orange, also more black. Which just means more bare carbon fiber.
Is it? I didn't see more black on it.
No. Look at the pictures. Look at our Instagram. If you haven't already, look at our Instagram.
I have, but at the clutch stomp.
And the car on top is the new car. The car that's more black is the new car. So I think it looks really good. Even though Nick hates it, I do like the Google Chrome wheels. I think it's a clever way of marketing.
Wait, did I have this reversed? You're wrong. You posted these incorrectly. The car on the top is the... Wait, what?
Let me look at this.
Hold on. The one on the top says the MCL... It says 60 on it. Like the 60th anniversary. I could have sworn when I watched the livery launch, the blue ran out to the back like it did on the bottom. Maybe
No. The car on top is the new car.
That's so weird.
Okay, maybe Nick doesn't know. The car on top is the new car.
But didn't the car last year have the stupid Google Chrome thing on the wheel covers, and the one on the bottom doesn't?
So McLaren's livery looked different at almost every race last year. Like they updated.
Maybe that's what it is. Is the one on the bottom is not what I remember last year. Or last year cars being.
Comparing the launch liveries, the one on top is the new car. The one last year's car did get more black as it went on, and it did get the Google Chrome wheels. So the car on top of these pictures that you're looking at right now, and if you're listening to us on audio, go check out our Instagram at the Clutch Dump. The ones on top is the new livery. I think it looks really good. I really like it. The actual launch itself, totally good. Very about it. It was simple. They did a cool, like, historical video of McLaren, which was super cool.
Right, for the 60th anniversary.
Showing Senna and Prost and Hamilton and all that. Like, it was super cool. And then they just showed the car, which was cool, and they did some talking bits with the drivers and with Zach Brown, and Andrea Sella was there. Well done, McLaren. The proper amount of talking, the proper amount of video. They showed the car right away. Well done, McLaren. Nick Patty, your boy, your main man.
This was the only full livery launch I watched, which I would like to also say, in terms of the McLaren one, but as well as Aston Martin, the perfect amount of talking. Like it was.
Really?
Did you not watch it?
I watched all of it, sadly.
The Aston one?
Yeah.
It wasn't too long.
But Lawrence Stroll talked for like 30 minutes.
Okay, to be fair, I tuned in right when she said, "All right, thank you, Lawrence Stroll," and he walked off. and then I saw from
dude.
there on out.
Okay, so the Aston launch was almost the length of the Red Bull launch.
But there's no Dorito farting, so...
Dude, what's your deal with Doritos?
I'm just referring back to the episode that you edited almost
I
exclusively
appreciate the
for...
callback.
Yeah.
So, the Aston, for starters,
So that car is their 2023 car.
we give Red Bull a lot of crap, okay? But here's the thing.
Stop.
No.
Okay.
No. Listen,
Continue.
Hear me out, okay?
I will
me
hear.
out. Certain cars have to be certain colors, okay? If the McLaren wasn't orange, we'd be upset.
No.
Okay? It could also be chrome.
Yes.
But it can only be chrome or orange, and that's it.
Yes.
Right? But McLaren is orange now, so it has to be orange.
Yes.
Right? The logo is orange, it has to be orange. The Mercedes has to be silver, or black, because the livery was cool.
Because Lewis Hamilton wanted...
Ferrari
Yeah.
has to be red. If the Ferrari showed up and it wasn't red, we'd be like, ooh, a new livery, and then be like, but it's dumb because it's not red and
No,
Ferraris are red.
because
It'd be a
yellow
thing.
would look amazing.
No. I'm not saying it wouldn't look good. But they have to be certain colors, because you have to remember, these are called businesses.
Oh, is that
Right.
what they are?
And there's something called marketing.
Really?
Yes.
I'm so
Therefore,
glad you told me.
Ferraris have to be red, McLarens have to be orange, Red Bulls have to look the same since 2016, and Aston Martins have to be green. But here's the thing. Doesn't mean you can't change it up every once in a while, and boy, the new green looks good. I'm stoked. They made like a whole thing about the new green, and everyone's
know.
like, that's so dumb, and then they showed the new green, and everyone was like, you know what?
So there's a few things I want to point out on this car that are completely different from last year's car. And
my
as we
gosh,
were watching it, my wife was sitting there
I tried to do
looking
this with all the other
at
cars,
Fernando
and you
and
made fun of
Lance,
me, and you're going to point it out,
and
because
and
you're a
and
Fernando
you know
Alonso
what's
fan.
funny is I'm talking. So that's the funny part of this. Is so
Sorry, you were saying.
I was standing at this TV actually. And I was like, yeah, if you look here, here, and here, this is what's different. And I was like pausing and rewinding, and Shelby's just sitting there. She's like, so what was Fernando saying? I couldn't hear it. We're going to do a side-by-side right here. So the side pods, hugely different. Look up the photos, Ben, because I don't think
Already
you
have it.
noticed.
Already have
No. I want you to pull up the Instagram at the Clutch Dump.
Nick, I noticed. Every single car is
No.
different this year except
No.
for the Red Bull.
No, you didn't notice. You lie.
Nick, every car is different except for the Red Bull. They're all
Right.
different.
So, like I said,
Every
the
car is
side
different.
pods are vastly different. The section
as
under
well
the
as
side
on all the other cars, they're all vastly different. Yes,
you
I
are
will give
going to give me
Aston
a
Martin.
seizure. So Ben, this is what we're
I
going
will
to do.
give
You ready? You ready?
Aston Martin.
You ready?
It's equal amounts
Are you
of
ready?
screen time as everyone else.
Are you ready?
Because we're fair in this household.
Are you ready?
Yes.
You go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Because I'm talking about my favorite driver. Okay? Oh my god, just hearing nothing has never made me more happy. So the side pods on the Aston Martin are vastly different. If you look at the actual intake, it's different. If you look at the fact that the underside of the intake on the side pod actually is like an underbite on a undercared for preteen, it is what the Aston Martin side pod looks like for the 2023 car. And then the section under the intake for the side pod has more curves in it to allow for more air to go under the side pod but over the floor section to provide more downforce as it moves towards the rear of the car. Also, the entire front wing is now black, perfect look, exposed carbon. We also get Hugo Boss sponsorship, which I cannot wait to buy my Fernando Alonso hat and my Hugo Boss puffer vest for Aston Martin. Looking at the front wing, here's like the biggest part that actually I'm surprised I noticed. Ben's looking at his phone, which, you know, like kind of mildly annoying because I'm going through a technical breakdown right now of a Mercedes that's painted green. So the front wing, the front wing elements, the first, second, and third element going up the rear wing, normally come out and they meet with the side pod, either angled, flat, or something like this, right? And they meet the side pod. These don't. There's the end plate, and then the front wing just kind of disappears. It just kind of Gone. Doesn't even, other than the main front lower element that connects, none of the upper elements in the front wing connect to the end plate, which is very different. Dan Fallows, the guy that's in charge of the car, said that they were going for very aggressive, very different. So I turned to my wife and I said, so it'll be very good or it will suck. Those are the two options. Either Fernando will be fighting for top fives, or the car will be like it has since Aston Martin came back in F1. That all being said, my favorite beer sponsors Aston, and my favorite whiskey sponsors Alpha. So I legally can drink as much as I want and be supporting two teams. Thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that I frequently try to make things technical, and I get yelled at for it.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but there was like a MotoGP section of this episode, so
Where I didn't say anything technical.
Doesn't
not
matter.
A darned,
This is payback.
not a darned thing.
Doesn't matter. This is
because
payback.
You
doesn't matter.
cut all
This
this
is payback.
out. This podcast is 20 minutes long,
No.
and it's only the MotoGP section. And I am going to post it.
No, well, here's the thing: is all I know is this. You should see. Here's the thing: I would
Yes.
think you'd want to be grateful because I'm saving you the breath of explaining it technically.
I am grateful.
Oh!
I did notice all of this.
I forgot the DRS element of the Aston Martin rear wing, which is normally one single vertical stabilizer, has two vertical stabilizers that look like a gooseneck that comes up to split the air, and then the actual DRS element.
So it's like last year's Williams.
The DRS element. The DRS element.
Because Williams was at 2 and is now at 1. So fascinating. See, this is what I'm interested in. I don't care who's driving. I don't care about their drama. I don't care if they got hit on a bike. I don't care about any of that. I don't care who owns the team. I don't care about the color of the cars. I care about just the cars and nothing else. That's all I care about. I care about that. I care about the drivers. I don't care who wins. Lewis Hamilton could win every race until the end of time, and I'd be fine with that. Or Lance Stroll could win all of them, and I'd be fine with that too. That's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the last episode of the Clutch Dump.
It's all the same.
We'll see you next time. No, we
I
won't.
just care about the technical aspect of it. So yes, I also notice these things.
Well,
So-
when you have a team principal named Mike Crack, I just realized I said my crack, not Mike Crack.
who has a team principal name?
Aston,
Do they? Okay.
or the head engineer. Oh, I'm interested in the.
I'm
Who's
only interested
Mike
in the cars.
Crack?
I'm only interested in the cars. I don't care about the people. People
Okay.
are irrelevant. People are very annoying.
Last bit of last bit of F1 news before we get to the Is It Art. I don't know if you saw, but Stefano Domenicali came out and said that the Andretti's comments about F1 teams being greedy were, quote, not smart. To which I thought to myself, well, that's awfully convenient for the guy that's blocking them from F1 saying, it's not smart to call us greedy because we're greedy and we could not let you join because we're greedy.
It's true. It's true. So yeah,
I don't like that they called us greedy because the reason we don't want them to join is we'd have to give up less money.
It's not very nice of them.
No, how dare they? Ben, do you want to ask if it's art?
Nick Patty, is it art?
Yes. Ben, you want to close this?
Oh yes.
Do you want to close this out?
Yeah. So apparently a popular thing, aside from having the cars be 90% carbon fiber, and from having your launches
Is pulling
be-
a homeless guy off the street and giving him a
long.
spray paint can and saying, go to work.
is having some interesting artists, interesting people, Nick, because there are interesting people in this world.
No such thing.
Make some art cars out of some Formula One cars. So the Red Bull did a doodle car, which I thought was really cool. I think it looks sick and way better than the actual livery.
Oh, 1,000%. When I saw
so-
the Doodle car, I was like, wait, is that their livery? No way.
Sick!
Yeah,
When they
yo!
were doing like a whole black and white livery, stoked for that. Because if you could do the whole thing doodled and then have the Red Bull
Well, if like
logo
you
in
could
the
doodle, if you could doodle the word of the artist, and then it's like the word art where people write the word until it makes an art piece. If they did that with the words Red Bull, but then made it the logo,
Yeah,
that would look
yeah,
so cool.
That'd be sick, dear Red Bull. You did it wrong.
Dear Christian, me,
So
23
the doodle car-
in
the
San
doodle car
Antonio.
was super cool. And then Alfa Romeo also had an art car, which is actually spray painted, and it was the initials of the entire Alfa Romeo team, which was super cool. And that car is going to be shipped around the world to go to a bunch of different events and stuff, and then be auctioned off, which is super cool.
For charity.
Probably all for charity. It'll be a nice big tax write-off for some rich person. So that's why we auction things off for charity.
Charity doesn't exist. It's just a tax write-off.
That's exactly what it is. Nick Patty, any final thoughts, final words, final comments, concerns, questions?
My final thoughts are this. To all those Lewis Hamilton fans out there, I cannot wait.
I'm just going to cut this out.
No, you're not. You're not.
Cut this out. Aston's finishing last in the Constructors this year. They're going to do horrible. Just cut all this out.
To all those Lewis Hamilton fans out there, I salivate for the moment that Lewis Hamilton does not get a win this season either. And that Fernando Alonso duels Lewis Hamilton. Last thought. J-Bone. Your prediction that Max Verstappen will be the 2023 World Drivers' Champion? If you're going to make a prediction, don't just predict that the guy that lasts the guy.
That's staying in. Everything else is getting cut. It's going to be MotoGP. The guy that end.
You're telling me your prediction is the guy that won the last 2 years is going to win again? The team that won last year and was second marginally the year before is going to win again this year? That's your prediction?
I'm very excited for when we do our preseason.
That's
event.
No prediction. I got a prediction. Aston Martin will finish fourth in the Team Constructors Championship, and Alonso will finish top 10 in the Drivers' Constructors. I got another one. Checo Perez will not finish second in the Drivers' Championship. I also think that Charles Leclerc will be World Drivers' Champion. I think those predictions are a lot more risky than anything J-Bone has ever said.
I agree with you on the Aston bits, on the fourth and the top 10. Agree with you on that. Charles, no. Checo, yes. I think he'll finish fifth, I think.
Behind what? Mercedes, Charles, and Max?
Yeah, I think.
I got a bold prediction. Actually, I'll say this. I'm going to put J-Bone. I'm going to put this out on the line. George Russell, World Drivers' Champion 2023.
That's what I had as mine. That's what I was going to do. I was going to put George as my World Drivers' Champion.
J-Bone, if we're right, you owe us money, and if we're wrong, we owe you nothing.
We owe you nothing.
Take it or leave it.
Let's shake on it.
J-Bone, pleasure doing business with you.
Well, on that note, we're going to end off episode 34 of The Clutch Dump. As always, if you haven't, go check us out on social media at The Clutch Dump. Please give us a follow on Instagram. If you're listening to this on any podcast platform, thank you for listening. Please give us a follow. Please give us a rating. Please give us a review. It helps us very much. If you are watching our somewhat beautiful faces on YouTube, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and comment down below what you thought of this episode. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed episode 34 of The Clutch Dump. We'll see you next time.